When you wait for the fly to sit and get comfortable, you can line this thing up and BAM! Takes him down.
Fair warning. This is gonna be weirder than usual.
Yeah.
Can't be helped.
I sound really dramatic.
So here I am.
Sounds like she's in Metallica. Here I am, on the road again.
I know I shut you out sometimes. I'm always glad to hear from you.
It's a nice bowling alley.
It's just that I get my hopes up. So many times it's led to nothing.
That oppressive ceiling.
I found nothing. It's like we live in a room and there's a poster on the wall.
Yeah.
We stare at it and we think that's the whole world.
We stare
The
at
room
it.
and the poster. The picture's something nice. A landscape, a famous person. Like in that movie, what is it called? The prison movie. The room's a cell, and the picture, it's different for each of us. It can be beautiful or terrible, but we're all transfixed. But it's all a lie. Something to distract us from the truth. They're lying to us. We're lying to ourselves. The room's not the world. The world is much bigger and much stranger. There's a hole hidden behind that poster. That
Shawshank
leads to
Redemption.
the real world.
That's
We
the
all
movie.
feel safe in that room. But sometimes something crawls out from behind the poster. And the ones that see it happen freak out and try to forget what they saw. I'm here.
I'm queer.
Why did you bring me here? Hello?
She came in off the
Anyone
street.
here?
Somebody brought her here. She sounds angry. What's outside? Prince, I've been okay. I've been feeling kind of like grumpy and low lately. I'm a bit frustrated. Ooh, look how fast she moves. Seeing this lobby, so I like these speakers. Seeing this lobby makes me want to play Deus Ex Human Revolution again. A classic for me. I'm going to add that to my reminder. Remind me to play Deus Ex Human Revolution again or Deus Ex 1. Remind me to play Dave's Sexy Man Revolution. Remind me tonight at 9 p.m. to play Deus Ex again. Human Revolution. I just feel kind of like, I don't know, blocked. I feel like my brain isn't working very well. I feel like I'm being really negative to people. Like my first instinct to people is to kind of like cut them down. And I think it's because I'm frustrated in myself and I'm bringing that out on people. And I don't like that. I've been getting really negative. So this game should cheer me up. Put your stuff in the thing. Prohibited items reminder. Wow, that was loud. Certain objects not allowed inside the bureau. Unauthorized weapons, pagers, lollipops, laptops, smart watches, phones, gaming devices, anything smart. Number 2 pencils you can't bring in. Any objects considered iconic representations of archetypal concept. A rubber duck or a ketchup bottle of an archetypal concept. Whoa. This is quite interesting. Okay, so I need to go into my loadout and get rid of rubber duckies. I like this. You don't have a clearance level. you don't have anything. I'm here and there's no one here. Positive meditation. No. Zangief? Zangief. Wow, this is a really nice looking game. Like the way the chairs are kind of rendered and the drawing style of things doesn't look like every other game. You know, they're sort of like that style, you know? They all kind of have PS4 teeth and Unreal Engine face. I should try positive meditation. I don't spend enough time alone with my thoughts. Oh, this game's going to destroy my brain. Or help me. Internal lockdown, building lockdown. Really? Kind of seems like everybody... It seems like we walked in quite easily. The phone looks huge. I love the look of that chair. This is kind of like a stylized reality. The only uncanny valley I might get is from, like, probably the faces, you know, the way they try to do them. Just want to make sure this is recording for our YouTube audience. Recording, yes, wonderful. It's wonderful. Ah, I love it. I do so very love it. And video, fantastic. Pick up and read any and all documents you find. They're important to the story. Okay. You got it, baby cakes. I think she was holding square. Is everything look a little bigger than it should be? Like those cigarettes, those canisters, that phone, the typewriter. Maybe she's just really small. You know, in The Surge, when you find out, oh, you're a guy in a wheelchair. What if you find out you're a little person? That'd be kind of fun, because then you can play with the perspective of the world, right? That would be a really interesting game. Playing as a little person, and all the challenges they have to do and deal with, and the different kind of perspectives you could get from it. Make it a VR game. You kill people who call you little boy. Kill them. Why? Open. Do I have to do this every time? Oh, it's a different thing. Staffing surveillance blank. Data center initiative construction. Major. Minor. Office equipment janitorial. Mold removal. Horky! Zangief. That's where the tubes go. A little projector. The office is nice. I really like the graphical style.
This seal. I saw it a long time ago. I keep seeing it in my dreams.
Oh yeah. Look at the way the office looks in that light. It's really nice. Have you played this one, Horkster? You're looking at new tropic supplements, but ultimately, you're a little too scared to screw around with brain chemistry. Old school mail tubes. Oh yeah, and there was a dial phone. And so this could be like in the 90s, right? I really like how she runs. I put my hands down and I run. I run so far away. Now I need to poop. It'll seem a little low to the ground. Everything seems a bit off. In a good way. Like it's adding to the suspense. Not played it before.
Federal Bureau of Control.
This game might screw around with your brain chemistry.
I've been looking for them, and they were hiding in plain sight.
What? What are you talking about? Is this Inception, the video game? That'd be cool. Press L3 to crouch. Press circle to crouch. Press square to crouch. Press triangle to crouch. Press R3 to crouch. There is no crouch button. You can jump, though. There is no crouch button. What do you think about this motion blur? I like the film grain. It's not in the 90s. The FBC specifically says not to bring in smartphones and smart devices that didn't exist. Oh, right. Yes, Prince. Pistachios, pretzels, crackers, protein. Very, generically labeled. There will be no brand names in the FBC. They just have a dial phone because you can't use the regular phones. Gotcha. Regular phones. Smartphones. Right, just in case you didn't read this. Oh, that's the one I already read. A shark in his butt. Although secure butt. Permission to butt. Following basic protocol butt. Shoot to kill butts. Good luck. A shark? A shark? I think I remember seeing a shark in the promotional material. Maybe some of the trailer stuff. This is a really fun intro. It's mysterious. I saw an article where it showed an association between the ratio of glutamine to glutamate in your brain and motivation. Not a huge population study, but interesting. Oh my god. She has low glutamate. Look at that jump. Do I have to do this every time? I gotta go like... I have to press the button. R1, R1, R1. Over correspondence. Down. I feel like I'm doing a finishing move in Mortal Kombat. Over, R1, over. As you all should know by now, the R4 reports are due by the end of the week. We're still waiting on them from a number of people. If you need an extension, please request from Form R4.E from your supervisor. If you think you're exempt from filing an R4, you'll need to get written permission from your department chief saying so. Remember, R4s are mandatory under Section 75.2. If your R4 requires interdepartmental claims, well then please contact the appropriate department head, Dr. Darling, Marshall, Salvador, or Kirkland. They'll be so busy on Thursday in their annual policy review, so please schedule accordingly. Very admin-y. This is like Office Space, the game. There's a button you can hold to go straight to the document you just picked up. Gotcha.
Hello?
Hello?
Hey, excuse me.
There you are. You are here about the job. Janitor's assistant.
Janitor's assistant.
You need to go to the interview. Go that way to the elevator.
Thanks. Elevator that way. Got it.
Very good. I'm Ahti, the janitor, by the way. You'll work for me. You can say I sent you. If they don't hire you, then you are no helvet. There be work for the axe. Take them behind the sauna, jumalauta.
I've done enough night shift loner jobs to know it makes us come off weird. Ahti the janitor is a friendly face in my book.
Better than somebody with no face at all. Think about it. No face.
But that said, I know what you're thinking. If there's an axe murderer around, that's him.
Take them behind the sauna and kill them with the axe. The janitor's assistant. What accent is that? I love it. Portuguese? Janitor. Finnish?
The cell and the poster. I was 11 years old the first time I saw behind the poster. They told me I imagined it. I've been trying to pull it down ever since.
She sounds so angry.
Will you help?
Talking to me? Yeah. Courtney Hope. And you have Aito, the janitor. Oh, Jani Pulkkinen. Maybe it's their Finnish friend. Janitor. Oh, a lot of like Finnish-looking names. He's Finnish? I love that accent. The QA manager. Nice font.
Did I lose you there for a moment? You know what's on my mind. My baby brother, Dylan. 17 years since the men of this bureau took him.
Okay. 17 years, they took her baby brother. She's come to find him. He is a janitor. We are in the oldest house. Baba, baba. Janitor. You wonder if there's a name for that kind of intro with macro shots and stuff that slows down and speeds up? Yeah, it's like quite a trend of like in action and stuff. They do that. That kind of like. Remember, Red Letter Media was complaining about that in Wonder Woman. They watch a lot more movies than I do. Did you watch their part 2 of their top 5 Star Trek Next Generation episodes? It's glorious. Glorious. To hear them talk about things they actually like, oh my god. So nice. Oh, dark. Open collectibles. Trench, do not disturb. I'm not to be disturbed. Cancel all of my appointments for the day. For the rest of the week. I can't trust them, Barbara. Not a single one. I can't trust them, Barbara. Trench, can't trust him. Okay. I like this because I have no idea what's real and what's not. It's just unfolding as you go.
Shit. Shit.
Shit.
You want me to pick it up? The murder weapon?
Ooh.
Really?
Is this one of those games where the character
Something's
talks
outside.
to me?
Was coming here a mistake?
Yeah, no overlap.
And there goes the poster.
Objects of power can cause or be results of AWE's altered world events, intrusions upon the perceived reality. Now, the service weapon is, of course, a prime example of an OOP, a very powerful one. Ingrained in the Bureau's DNA, a key component in our prime candidate program. Come out of that Russian roulette a winner and you're it.
Look at this place. Where am I?
I'm digging this. Yeah, I think that, I mean, TNG's got so many fantastic... has so many great episodes, such a variety, and such a long history. And I think that they were just choosing their favorite ones as opposed to, like, trying to rank the ones that seem the most important kind of thing. Nice. You know, I've been wanting a game like this for a while, like... AAA, big budget, but that just kind of messes around with like, what is a game? What is reality? What isn't? Kind of blending some things around, and not over-explaining it. Just letting you discover it through play. You know, show don't tell. Oh, cool. Crumble. Felix! Security clearance 1 to enter that door. Okay. Yeah, very creepy, very weird. Mysterious, but pretty exciting.
The same gun. Okay, now I have a gun.
This is not a great aiming system. Thing comes back on its own. Oh boy. Is that why you went back to play Alan Wake? Because you played this one, Felix boy? Regenerates ammunition automatically. Fantastic! Why not? It is weird that like every game does have to be about combat, you know? Why don't they make a Star Trek The Next Generation game where it's about diplomacy? Saying the right thing at the right time! You skip most of the documents. You don't like reading. That's cool. Infinite ammo. Do you have a gun too? Are you me? Uh-oh. Doesn't seem like shooting is this team's strong point, but it's fine. It's serviceable. Yeah, exactly. Like a Telltale game that's or like Banner Saga, where it's really about saying the right thing at the right time, not necessarily about fighting. Wield the gun. Unlockable.
Something's coming. This threat. An attack. Duty as director. Keep the Bureau safe.
Did you hear that? It's the dead man. Right after the pyramid spoke to me, and it was just noise, and I understood every word. And this gun's alive. You know what? I'm happy. Happy to be here. Things have quieted down outside. Is it safe to go?
I don't know. Okay, so we were in a training mission and we shot a bunch of people and we shot this. Is there like two different timelines going on at once? Or was the training to shoot that guy? Is this all a simulation? Is this building real? I don't know. Now I have a map. Oh man. No, looking at my map kind of ruined the shock of seeing that. Let's try that again. That's just a regular door. Oh my god, you guys.
You can't let this happen. 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 You stopped it. You... Oh, thank you. That was...
So there's a lot of FMV in this game.
horror.
Or at least some.
Get the fuck away!
Look at that gun rippling away. I like the way she runs with her hands down on her side. Ow! You just went to the astral plane is all. Blue specks. Restore your health. Astral plane, eh? Looks like a simulation to me. I guess I'm confusing the sci-fi stuff with the fantasy stuff. Because it's futuristic, so it's like a mix of both. Which is what I like. Beep beep boom. You know when you have those games that do like a pop out of cover and you can sort of like find where you're aiming and then you pop out, and you keep refining your aim so you can just pop out and like blast them. School's out for summer, baby. Oh yeah. I really like how little this game explains. It's not really futuristic. It takes place close to our time. Well, for me, Prince, I was born in 1984, so our current time feels futuristic to me. When people are like, I'll use my smartwatch to control my pacemaker. What? Ah, recharging bullets. You know, recharging bullet guns. Futuristic! And these guards turning into whatever. Undefined reading. You don't have a clearance level to read that. Who do you think you are? It's very like Half-Life kind of sounds. Oh, this makes me miss Prey. I'm happy to play that DLC at some point. Stop shooting before you run out, thank you. Really good game to mess around with when you're bored. With other games for 30 minutes to half an hour and you finish half Hitman 1. Yeah! You find Hitman 2 way more fun? Yeah, Hitman's great for just like hopping in and messing around. While pending any notifications of death related to the Willow AWE, please adhere to the following guidelines. In the service of his or her country. Regret. Proud. Pride. We remembered. Avoid. Alaska. Scissors. Blood. Loss. Apologies. Sorry. Interesting. How deep does this go? How deep do they go? Hey, that's you! I quit. Wait. Do I still get my pension? No? Cool. So many things I want to pick up and read just in case. I like that this is going to be... Seems kind of linear, or like, what, Metroidvania-ish? Based on that. And the level clearance and all that crap. Bloop, 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 bloop. You're intrigued to play missions just to see different ways to kill the targets, but you never tried. You're more intrigued by the next level. Yeah, I'm the same as you, Prince. I ended up with Hitman 1 the first full season. I don't know if I don't think I have Hitman 2, but I've played all. I've never felt the need to play the whole thing, but I really love it when I play it. That's another one we could start hopping into, you know, when we have like another 45 minutes or something left to stream. Yeah, red. Good color. Good color to convey it.
The hotline. Secure point of communication. Guidance. Reach the hotline.
Oh, now I can crouch.
The hotline, says the old man. Okay.
I wonder if there's sort of like clues later on once you figure out more about it. Where like the way these enemy soldiers are responding, or like color cues, or a whole bunch of things. Could be sort of giving me clues as to what they are later on. One of those things where it's so obvious as you're playing. The second time. That looked really cool the way she stood up and just went boom. Did I call you Prince? Oh yeah, that's yes, I made a mistake. I'm very sorry. I put you guys in the same category. There's like, you know, a Venn diagram, how two things overlap. Like, but Prince and Felix have a bit of a Venn diagram. Unfortunately, Leonardo and Felix have some Venn diagram together. I think maybe Daryl and Horky have a bit of a Venn diagram together. But there's a lot of ways we all have some connection to each other. I think it's like with any people that you talk to and get along with.
Secure line of communication. Guide us. Online.
Yeah, that's the way to do it. It's really hard to aim with the right joystick once you're used to the mouse. This feels like a computer game for sure. I wouldn't mind checking out this soundtrack. We could do a whole episode on it. Whoa! I kind of want to let this guy get a bit closer, see what he's all about. You know what? I don't think I play a lot of this kind of shooter, no. More like the third-person style or like the melee kind of shooters. They're not shooters and melee stuff. This just feels like it would control a lot better with a mouse. It's a bit clunky the way it moves with the joystick. How do you aim, Felix? Dinner reservations at 7 at Chez Ambre. Wife will meet you there. Don't be late. Flowers are ready for you to lobby. Remember, she's turning 46. That's nice. See, rich people have happier lives because they have assistants reminding them to be nice to people they love. Pretty cool lamp. Typewriters. Whoa. Not bad. Are you guys gonna come down and play? They'll just look like office workers. That must fight. Oh, what if all the people we're killing are just orphans or something? You know? They weren't guards at all. It was a trick. More impact of different animations? Yeah, I know what you mean. It's a bit sort of like... It's just going to be that every time. It'd be nice if it was more like... Poof, bam, poof, kwaka. Would be nice. A little bit more kwaka. Marshall. We checked out the suspended outlet in Duluth. Wasn't anything, just like the house fire before this. And the malfunctioning clothes drive before that. My team is getting pretty sick of duds. We need to find a better way to sort the fake AWEs from the real things. Or you need to rotate these field agents off for a bit. Anyways, we're on Roger Sherman Ranch. Next one on the list. Let's hope it's a little livelier there. Special Agent Keenum. The Bureau has many internal security personnel. The Hiss was quick to take advantage of this fact. Hiss guards use the standard-issue bullpup rifles they carried prior to corruption, while the armored guards carry pump-action shotguns. They have no observed paranatural abilities, with the exception that certain Hiss guards are protected by a shielding of dense Hiss resonance, capable of stopping bullets. Is this shielding a result of prolonged Hiss corruption? Does the Hiss mature in organic hosts over time? More data is needed. Do the Hiss target individuals with combat training? Does the Hiss have that level of cognizance? Does it utilize hosts for tasks they are best suited to? Combat trained hosts are reserved for combat. These are all the questions for later. Though it's obvious that corrupted individuals retain knowledge on the use of their weapons. Refer to file but for full report. They are office workers. So much is expected from the director. The responsibility, the privilege. Zachariah Trench. Service weapon. When bound, the object allows para-utilitarians to butt. This object must also be bound by individuals seeking the role of butt. The object will determine whether butts. If rejected, the applicant is terminated. This process is dictated by the butt. The other criteria is unknown. The object was discovered inside the oldest house in the room that is now used as the director's office. The popular hypothesis, many forms throughout the history, Excalibur, all weapons that something. If objects of power are a convergence of forces based on the collective subconscious, then this may be the original manifestation of that event. Redacted. You don't like it when I say but?
Objects of power can cause or be results of AWE's altered world events, intrusions upon the perceived reality. A side note, remember to cover their connection to the astral plane as well. Now, the service weapon is, of course, a prime example of an OOP, a very powerful one. Ingrained in the Bureau's DNA, a key component in our prime candidate program. Come out of that Russian roulette a winner and you're it. Lose and you're, well, fired. Thank you. I'm Dr. Darling, head of research, Federal Bureau of Control.
Dun dun dun. Confidential government footage. Is this like going to be one of those stories where there is no resolution? It's just like, it's up to interpretation. It's your interpretation. Oh, great. How fun. You didn't have a point to make. She's a real beauty. Seek shelter. Seek shelter.
The hissing sound that tried to invade me earlier. The hiss burrowing into everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? Alright, it's our enemy. That babble's contagious. It burrows in like an infuriating melody that makes you hum it over and over.
I grabbed Doom 2016 from it because I wouldn't mind playing a few hours of that. And I wanted to try like Technomancer. Put a tape in it. It's cool to see the FMV stuff. I jumped into the big red trap. Okay, little circles, you can pick them up, pop them up, pick something up. Gotcha. Standing still is not advisable. Twitch has message replies in the UI now. I could reply to each individual message kind of thing. Oh, yeah. Like that. That's fantastic. Thank you for the hint.
Hissing sound that tried to invade me earlier. The hiss. Burrowing into everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? Alright, it's our enemy.
Dead. Well, we are affiliated. We're not partners or anything, but we've hit one next level. But I'm sure you've seen plenty of other channels that have like thousands and thousands of people that don't have it. Maybe they did toggle it off. More aggressive while managing your ammo. Okay. So more aggressive is in like more melee. Maybe I should clear off the weaker guys first.
Hissing sound that tried to invade me earlier.
More headshots?
The hiss.
Yeah.
Burrowing into everything in this place. Is the hiss your enemy? Alright, it's our enemy.
Open loadout. Weapon mod, baby. What do we get here? Yeah. Grip. Grip. Exclusive to Shatter. Okay. I don't think he can do it. Kill the weaker guys first, they drop the health. Give me that health! Dead. I think it would play a little better with a mouse, yeah. But, it's fine. Melee isn't that good in this game. If you have to use it, don't keep using it because it's not a combo. Yeah, that's the thing. It's more like I should shoot maybe melee and then finish him off while the gun's recharging, maybe. For a game that's got this much combat, you think they would have added a little bit more variety to it. I guess there's going to be different powers you can get with it, but yeah, the melee stuff would have been nice because I thought it was going to be a bit more psychological in gameplay.
Burrowing into everything in this place.
All right.
Is the hiss your enemy? Alright, it's our enemy.
Whoa. Okay, it seems like I can stay quite far away. Uh-oh, uh-oh. There you go. Where's that big guy? Gimme. There he is. Oh, he didn't even warp in this time. I like that they put the ammo right by your, your shooting indicator. Your reticule. It's really handy. Run, Luke, run. Shoot, duck. Shoot, duck. Shoot, duck. Shoot, duck.
Must cleanse control points. An enemy. Corrupt. Spreading.
Cleanse the control point. What does that mean? Help me fix it. Holy shit! You did it! We did it!
Hello? Can you hear me?
Outfits.
Bureau. Are you still sane?
Where is that? I like when the map stays
Talk to me.
open, you know?
We saw you deal with the compromised agents.
Yes. It's the bunker.
Is it safe to come out?
Tubes.
I can't tell you how happy I am to talk to somebody sane.
You look really
The
happy.
feeling's mutual. Yeah, I'm Pope. Emily Pope. Dr. Darling's assistant.
My turn. Should I lie?
I'm...
Jesse Faden. I'm just visiting. I should have lied.
Oh, shit. You're the new director. Hold on. We're coming out.
Director Faden.
Call me Jesse.
Okay, Jesse. I'm Emily. Look, somehow this hostile force, this...
Hiss?
that works? Somehow the Hiss managed to infiltrate the building without any warning.
And just like that, my name for it is official. The hiss. Like the sound of poison gas leaking in.
We're in full lockdown. It seems to have spread everywhere and to everyone not protected by an HRA. And, extraordinarily, you.
Yeah.
You are the director, and that makes you special by definition. Trench is no longer the director, obviously. I'm sorry, I'm talking too much. This whole situation is just a lot.
Trench is dead. Shot.
Ah,
I found his body. And the gun. Do I tell her it looked like a suicide?
the service weapon.
Also, and this can sound crazy, but he keeps appearing to me, saying things.
I really like this world that they're in.
It's hard to make out, but he told me to cleanse the control point, push the hiss out. The whole room shifted around.
You did that? And you entered the building when it was already in the lockdown before you became the new director? How?
I'm not ready to tell her about you yet. A janitor let me in.
I love it. This is fucking unbelievable. I can't even... Look, Jesse, I have a million questions, and you probably have a million more.
Like, do you know my brother Dylan? Not yet.
But there's something I need to ask you to do first. If you can cleanse a control point, then you can maybe cure those infected or possessed by the hiss. Because if that's possible, our options are very different.
Emily Pope. I don't know her, but I like her already. She's the opposite of the faceless agency I've blamed for what happened to me for so long. But I can't trust her yet. Or rather, the Bureau she's a part of. Yes. I can try. I'm speaking for you, of course. We can try it together.
Us? Us? You? Me?
Okay.
Oh, me?
You with me?
Me? What?
We did it before. Push the hiss out.
Yeah.
It didn't work. The hiss has burrowed too deep. Ripping it out rips them apart.
Jesse, over here. We need to make a
You know,
plan,
something
Jesse.
like this game, the story of this is probably as crazy as something in Kingdom Hearts, but the fact that it just happens and you experience it, as opposed to it being explained to you, I think makes it a lot more interesting.
I can't cleanse them.
I saw. It was worth a shot. Thank you, Director. Jesse.
I'm gonna tell her why I'm here. I'll risk it.
No, I don't mean like Kingdom Hearts. I just mean in terms of the layers of insanity. Like, it seems like there might be a lot of weird things going on, different terminology you need to understand and stuff. There's a hiss, there's a bureau, there's people inside. I don't know what's real, I don't know what's not, what's an astral plane. But it's because they don't just sit there and talk to you about it. You just experience it, and it is what it is.
Listen, the Bureau was involved in an incident in my hometown, Ordinary, 17 years ago. The Bureau came in and covered the whole thing up. I've been looking for this place for a long time. That's enough. Maybe that's too much already. I can't tell her about Dylan and the rest yet.
I've seen mentions of an Altered World event case dealing with Ordinary. You were at Ground Zero as a child? It was one of the big ones, and before my time. And very classified. I can try to dig out some old files for you. My boss, Casper Darling, would know, but he's missing. I think he knew this was coming, or suspected. He came up with the HRAs, the Hadron Resonance Amplifiers. I think they're what saved us, or a few of us. And Director Trench would know.
Trench, the ghost, or whatever he is, he mentioned something called the Hotline. Said I should find it.
It's another object of power, like the gun, an old Bakelite telephone. A direct line of communication between the director and the board. Maybe he can talk to you more clearly through that. I mean, Trench has years and years of experience. He might know how to destroy the hiss.
Where is the hotline?
It's kept in the communications department through the mailroom. It's part of this sector, so we can access it even with the lockdown in place. We'll get the door open for you.
Okay, that's my next stop.
That's Tomasi's department. He's head of communications. I don't think he had an HRA. He kind of made a point about not wearing one earlier. Keep an eye out.
Yeah, everything does make
They
sense.
call me the director,
Yeah,
but that's not me.
the director.
I'm not a director type. I'm not a leader. Why am I here?
Yeah,
I think you already know.
no.
Yes, I came for my brother, but
Yes.
there are other reasons too.
Okay.
I said I was looking for answers, but I might never understand them.
Don't like the sounds of that.
I'm not looking for proof. This is already it. More than enough.
Okay.
No matter what they told me all those years, I know it's real now. I didn't imagine this. I want to be a part of this world. What scares me shitless is that I finally found it. Only to see the hiss destroy it all.
Not the hiss.
Look, I know this is all new to you, so don't hesitate to ask me anything you want to know.
Yeah, right. I feel
The
like every question
hotline
I'm gonna
should
have
be in the
is gonna be like 3
communications
more
department.
answers. Which makes 5 more questions. Origins of the hiss.
Where did the hiss come from?
I'm not sure. You said the hiss was here when you entered. Did you see anything like that outside before you came in?
No. No, just inside.
The source is internal then. See, the oldest house is a sprawling complex with openings to other places as well. I don't even know where to start looking. But in the context, it's good news. The lockdown holds. The hiss escaping the building would be the end. Pretty shitty world out there if you ask me, but I wouldn't want the hiss to destroy it.
With you on that, Emily.
Yeah.
You mentioned the oldest house. What is it?
This building, the Bureau headquarters, the oldest house, is a shifting place. Yeah, you've seen it. It transcends its physical limits.
I've been to New York a few times. How didn't I notice this place?
It's an attribute of the building. This is a place of power. The oldest house doesn't like attention, so unless you're purposely trying to find it, you don't, which is perfect for us. The work we do here is essential, but unstable. The Bureau prefers not to be noticed. And we need strong walls to make sure nothing gets out.
So without you, I never would have found the front door. Okay. This Trench guy. I keep hearing him in my head. Is he a ghost? Haunting me?
I doubt we're talking about a ghost in the traditional sense, but an echo maybe. See, if he was killed by the service weapon, your gun, maybe it's his final thoughts recorded by the bullet in his brain, like a deep space probe sending back data.
Yeah.
But that's just a hypothesis on my part. I'd need the gun to research it. But you better hold on to that given the circumstances.
I think I will. Yeah. Can you tell me what an object of power is exactly? This is all, well, new to me.
Don't worry, I love going over the basics. So objects of power are mundane objects that house paranatural energies and have developed a link to the astral plane and can thus be controlled, which is what differentiates them from altered items, which are still housings of paranatural forces, but are more volatile and cannot be bound in the peri-utilitarian sense. Got it?
Did she memorize this? Got it. Thanks. So HRA stop you from becoming Hiss?
Well, it seems that way. I mean, I hadn't even heard of an HRA until a few weeks ago when Dr. Darling started handing them out. Well, I began analyzing mine as soon as I got it. I mean, each one seems to emit a powerful short-range frequency way beyond anything I've ever seen.
Doesn't the timing seem suspicious?
I thought that too. Dr. Darling usually likes to unveil his latest breakthrough in big presentations. With these, he just passed them out. Yeah, his behavior makes me wonder what exactly he knew.
Yeah, I find this game is just pretty interesting. It's a bit like the story of it. I don't know. She's been trying to find this place. Now she's here. The director's dead. They're like, you're the new director. Your picture's on the wall. But I like it. It's something I was asking when we were playing all those indie games. Like, why don't you just try to tell a
I'm
totally
sure I'll
different,
have more questions soon.
more like
Just let me
abstract
know.
story using gameplay, or just have different. I also was asking for like totally different types of gameplay, where this is again melee and aiming and shooting, but whatever. At least the melee and the aiming and the shooting is done differently, you know. I convince this cat to go to a different spot. There's a shearling rug up there for you to sit on. A shearling rug. Made out of sheepskin. Enjoy it. No, don't come back. Don't come back. Alright. Find the hotline. Like what are these guys all saying? I don't even have a brain. When you look at it like an NPC compared to a main character, looks like they're some kind of a doll, you know, of that type. An adult-sized adult doll.
There it is again. Our welcome message.
And my cat trying to sleep on a keyboard, turning on sticky keys. Alright. So, Prince, you're interested in the AEW she's involved in. OOPs are basically receptacles for paranatural energy due to them representing archetypal concepts. The core difference between an OOP and an AI is that OOPs have a connection to the astral plane, potentially the board. They can also be used by para-utilitarians. Of course, Prince! But that's just the easy, simple stuff. I really like the way that the ammo recharges. Just like one less thing to worry about, you know? And why not? Why not have it recharge? I bloody need. Uh-oh. I missed, and I'm dead. Alright. Pretty interesting so far. Yeah. Definitely would be nicer with a mouse. They do have like an auto-aim thing that they put on for console play, but I had turned it off. Too proud. Your style of combat in this game is kind of like run and gun. They aim quite badly while you're running. Okay. I'll try that. Let's try some Felix play. Wrong way. AIs can't be used by para-utilitarians since they are highly volatile and uncontrollable. Their effects can range from something like moving to more lethal actions. Okay, interesting. Stella? Hello?
There it is again. Our welcome message.
Oh no. Oh, low health, low health, low health. And taking cover while low on ammo. Yeah, I think the most effective way I had it was I would just take cover and then pop up and shoot, because you can aim while you're crouching. So I think that's the that seems to be the most useful thing. Aim while covered, because you have an astral view, third-person view. No. You'll see. You'll see. I'll do better. You're going the wrong way. Chump. Man, these big sci-fi type buildings. I'm so excited for that Prey DLC.
There it is again. Our welcome
Do you like roam around a
message.
base when you're scared and there's aliens, and then you discover other humans, and are they friend or are they foe? How are they dealing with the situation? I always want to know how people are dealing with the situation. Oh, if you just like take your time and aim, you're pretty powerful. Yeah. And they get stunned every time you shoot them too. That's a big thing. Undefined reading. Wow. Emily instructs Jesse to find the hotline. An object of power in the form of an old telephone. To understand the message from the dead director trying to communicate with her. They hope he can provide insight into the Hiss invasion. Yes. But of course. You just keep hearing these phrases over and over again. They start sinking in.
Yes, it's overpowering here.
Very
You
Metroid-y, eh?
don't want me anywhere near it. With you on that.
Okay. Kind of like play like they would in an E3 demo, you know, or a trailer. Just walk towards. You got this action going on. You're taking your time. Uh-oh. Take your time. Be smooth. Real smooth. See, it's kind of moments like that where sometimes I do want to have the auto aim on, because it's like you're shooting just like minutely, just a fraction to the left and to the right of his head. And I think maybe auto aim would be nice. It always feels like, I don't know, it's slightly disappointing to have to turn on something to give you an assist like that. You know, what am I, lean off? Be like the ultimate game if you worked in an office. Dead letters. Nice font. He's got a shield. Nice that he hasn't come on to me up here. Woo! There we go. Little guys give you the health. Ouch. Next one. You're not gonna survive. Undefined reading. Singing fish. I called the police, Mr. Governor, but they never come to my house. I got a problem, and you gotta send folks to fix it. I got my wife and one of them singing fish on the walls. It's not a real fish. It sings when you hit a button. But it's got the devil in it. It flies around at night and sings devil songs. Says lots of cuss words. The devil's got in my house because of the fish, and you gotta come handle it. My wife is real upset. When can you come? Sincerely, Dwayne Barr. Leonard! It's pretty interesting so far. Quite confusing, but I have faith that it'll explain itself along the way, and I'm happy with the way that you experience it as opposed to being told about it. But I'm having trouble with this guy. Hey. Yeah, the gameplay's been pretty good. I find it, seems like it was made to be played with a mouse. So the shooting can be, a bit clunky. Well, some of the things I don't understand, Prince is like, you know, just like what is going on in this world? Why is this person? The girl is like, I'm looking for my brother. I found this building, and this girl's like, you're the new director, and the director got shot. Oh, great! Why's your picture on the wall? All this stuff just kind of seems like not reality, you know. Ah! Oh, it's intentional, is it? I'm glad it wasn't an accident. Yeah, which I don't mind as long as you eventually get some answers to it and they feel satisfying. It was red velvet. You will. Yeah. It's got a nice style. Very unique.
There it is again. Our welcome message.
I need to be smarter at dealing with that second room. Pretty challenging. Where's all those guys that I had to fight before? Did it just get rid of them automatically for me? It's a bit strange, eh? Yeah, it's got a great, I mean, it's a good looking game, but it's also unique. Which is quite nice. What the heck is this? Don't go in there. Havana. An auditory event occurred at the United States Embassy in Havana, injuring the majority of diplomatic staff stationed there. Deaths were reported and the outgoing information has been managed. Okay. You didn't witness it? Staff experienced sudden intense vibrations and noise, accompanied by an intense pressure in the ears. It lasted for unknown minutes. No visual phenomena was witnessed. The scene was cordoned off, and the embassy staff were transported back to continental U.S. Single cowboy boot began to vibrate, identifying it as an altered item. Dead letters. Alright. Alright, where's Mr. Shotgun? Where's the other guys? Oh, he goes back down. I think sometimes it's easier not to aim. It's interesting, you're kind of using the bullets as like a slowdown mechanism, you know? Uh-oh. Oh, did that destroy his, armor? It might have. I don't know if that was the big guy. Yeah, it's very, very strong thematically with how they designed it. Every aspect of the game is contributing towards that. Everything. Like, the way the enemies seem otherworldly. The way your gun has, like, a personality or is alive. The way that the ammo recharges on its own. The way that there's sort of like office workers floating. Yeah. Even the way the doors kind of open on their own. The way the characters talk to each other in this way that seems like they know what they're talking about, but is... But I don't... There's like an unreliable narrator kind of quality to it. And the way she's talking to someone that could be us. Even like the kind of lengths and the proportions. How every game reviewer learned the term brutalist. Doors open on their own in real life. They do, but they don't go like they don't blow open dramatically. I am a table. Oh, the way the music like speeds up and slows down. It's pretty neat. Jesus. Oh, that had a bit of a snap too, which I'll take at this point. Jessie has no idea what's going on, but she's just pretending. Yes, I'm the director. But then there's pictures of herself on the wall. She is the director. She's the janitor. Navigate through the communications department. There it is. Yeah, the contrast between the blue and the red really makes you feel what's going on in the situation. It's very unique. Cohesive. When something is super cohesive and has a strong perspective, you can forgive a lot more of the stuff that's clunky. Like, Red Dead. The combat's a bit clunky, but it doesn't really matter because everything else is working towards making it a strong presentation.
Just look at it. 8 inches wide and capable of storing a whopping 80 kilobytes. Stolen by our friends at the CIA, the disk held the launch codes to Soviet nukes. This is not the disc, of course, but one exactly like it. A perfect fusion of concepts vibrating in the Cold War era collective unconscious. A receptacle. It is a receptacle for dangerous energies to hone in on. And they did. We don't have the details, but when things started flying around the disk, it was transferred to us. It's an object of power. OOP. Oops. Oh, and it can launch things telekinetically through the air. To date, we've launched maybe 3 dozen pencils. And once, we even launched a cup.
Yeah, I'd say like her jumping doesn't have any weight to it. I think she kind of moves in a way that doesn't really look supernatural, and the aiming for the shooting is off. But so that's why I would say overall clunky to be playing on a controller. But I'd rather it be a little less realistic, but easier to move around and do what you need to do in the game. I can achieve what I want to do with her, even if it doesn't look super realistic. Whereas opposed to like a Red Dead Redemption 2, everything is ultra realistic, but then it can make it harder to actually do anything you want to do. So, because I can get what I need to do accomplished, or at least feel like I can, makes a lot more sense and
Communications.
a little more forgiving.
We're on the right track.
So in Princess House, doors open like this. Did you play on console or PC? Yeah, this? Her landing has some weight. It's just the way she kind of like fires up into the air. But it's kind of the mix of being an action game that's responsive and having something that looks incredibly realistic, right? So, I mean, everything, screenshots and the way it moves can look so realistic, and then you've got other things that are, it's a video game, so they're, really. Well, I guess I just have higher standards than you guys. Maybe clunky is not the right term. Like when I say clunky, what you guys are hearing is not the same. Like, I don't mean that it's slow. It just doesn't feel super like tight or fluid, in terms of like combat. What I'm used to in even a third-person shooter. It feels like it's a different kind of game first, with the third-person action on top of it. And I'm surprised there's so much. But then I think like, okay, well, I guess Remedy does do that. I mean, Max Payne was all shooting. That was a bit clunky too, with the story around it and the powers, the balance. Yeah, Metroidvania, but I mean, every good Metroidvania that has to feel amazing to maneuver, like Hollow Knight, which I almost called Horky Sporky. Hollow Knight, Castlevania games, especially the PlayStation Castlevania games, Bloodstained, Ori, Guacamelee. Metroidvanias feel incredible. Those are all two-dimensional ones. So, what would be a 3D version of Metroidvania? Navigate through the communications department. You got it. You like hearing the hiss incantation? You always find 2D games hard to control? Really? Maybe that's just the way we grew up differently. Like, I grew up playing 2D games, so they control really, really well. Good ones, anyway. They're so much more precise. Oh. Bash up that cement. Yeah, it's quite unsettling hearing the hiss and the odd word that comes through that I understand. Alright, where the heck am I going? Why don't you go down here? Yeah, there's like not really a lot of weight to that stuff kind of smacking into him. Maybe it's the power of it.
An object of power. Looks like the hiss have latched onto it. We need to cleanse it.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Well, like I say, I have pretty high standards with that stuff, so there's only... I mean, 2D platformers, probably... Even though I grew up playing them, it's probably a pretty small amount that I've played the Mario series, Donkey Kong Country, Zelda 2, Castlevania, Mega Man. There were a lot of crappy platformers, but if it was some like BS movie license or sort of TV game license, I don't... You found Mario to be slippery? Alright, well that's you. It's like an example of the greatest control. The control in Mario was better than this game at being control. He does have a weight to him, which to me I've always found really engaging. Because you can control him slightly in the air, too. So yeah, he does have a weight, and he does have a bit of a lurch when he lands. But I think that just makes it feel a lot better. A little bit of slide. Oh, Inside. This is another fantastic 2D platform with pretty great controls. Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. Here it comes. No. Oh my god. It's really short. But you want to be in the right mood for it. But it's only a few hours long. 4 or 5 hours? Won't be fun if I'm missing something here. Just run into and press the button. I only have very little health. Oh, I see. Where'd you get close? Hey, a floppy disk.
It's harder to hear you when I'm here. It's like the channel's been changed. The board's in charge here. They're pyramids in the Bureau seal. Are they really the ones pulling the strings? I'm not their director. I'm no one's director.
Yeah. Yeah, the puzzles were incredible and Inside. Actually, the platforming moments were so good, they were almost like Uncharted in the way you have to time things and understand it. It's Inside is definitely one of the greatest games of the generation for me. Every single like scene and moment of it, there's dozens of interesting things to look at, think about. Thingamajig, thingamajig. Wrong. Nice. Once you get this ability, it's much more fun. So why don't they give it to you right away? Progression. Oof, she's got quite the range. Ooh, I like the that like it's basically like a center channel right over your head. Should have shot one then the other, one then the other, one then the other. I got greedy. Equip personal mods to increase your combat effectiveness. You want to be effective, don't you? Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah, definitely. Show don't tell. Let the player experience it by playing. Let the game reveal itself to you. Don't just sit there and listen to the characters blather on about it. Nice sound design too. You know, I think that she kind of controls like you're playing first person, like the movement, speed and everything. It's like you're playing a first person game, but third person, so it looks kind of weird. But like I said, I'm happy with it because it, I can get her to go where I want her to go. That's what matters the most. Effectively too. She goes where I want her to go effectively. More effective than most. It's a very sort of JRPG area. The astral plane. Yeah, you don't want to overshoot her. Neat. Get that joystick over there. Yeah. I don't normally think about paranormal stuff, but I like it when things are a little different. And, you know, take advantage of, it's a video game, you can do anything, so take advantage of it. Have these things flying all over the place, big blocks, and having the characters look like that, floating, flying around. It's like everything they wish they could do effortlessly in a movie, where you have to have special effects, you're worried about it not looking real. Everything will look real. You know? You don't have to worry about like wires. Unless you try to go too realistic, you get Uncanny Valley. Compensate for bullet fall now. There's no bullet fall here. Maybe we are the hiss. Director. Janitor. Director. All the shame.
There you are. You were gone. Cut off. I got it. Just like you wanted, right? This will help me fight the hiss.
Cool, now I'm the object of power. Is that gonna explode all the other ones? Not a utilitarian. Up above. I want just pick up the whole ground. kind of hoping we'd get to throw those explosives. Breaking shield or replace gun. Ooh, if you upgrade telekinesis, you can throw back those grenades. Nice. Whoa.
Emily said that the hotline can be reached through the mailroom.
Whoa. A bunch of these. Health recovery plus 24%, or just health boost. I guess that. We can have one. Gun. Accuracy boost. Okay. No, I didn't. I was waiting for you to say that, Prince. They have displayed no aggressive behavior. They vocalize a strange incantation ad infinitum. Like a spore, a Wi-Fi booster, or maybe a cocoon. What am I looking for? The report? Willow AEW. Willow AEW. Case file. Yeah. There it is. National news sites have begun publishing the story of the polar bear attack on an Alaskan town. You all know I don't like to boast, but claiming that the family was killed by migrating polar bears desperate for food because their ecosystem is being ruined by global warming was a stroke of genius. Using current ecological concerns makes the public much less likely to blah, 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 blah. So another AEW behind us. AWE. And the public is none the wiser. Well done, everyone. It was a strong campaign and perfectly executed. This doesn't mean we can't stop muttering blah, blah, and blah for any off-measured opinions. But it's looking like we're in the clear. Tomasi out! Your story you couldn't really understand much. You retired from playing in long sessions each day. Interesting. It's a really good looking game. Feels like. They need to indestructible wall.
Locked. Maybe there's a key nearby.
Push the things to the surface of the light.
Mail room. Just follow the signs like real life. I don't have any clearance yet. Mail room. I need to find that key she was talking about. On the second floor. Open your loadout. Energy recovery. Guess it's good if you want to be more offensive. Yeah, I'm like that when if I'm trying to play a game late at night, then I don't want to play anything too serious or too demanding, too engaging. I just want to play like Splatoon or something like that, or like Hitman. I don't usually read a lot of sci-fi, but as far as space operas go, this was alright. The title, unless you could refer to a bunch of things in the book, I guess, but I thought it was a little vague and stupid. The way the characters kept throwing it around, almost like a catchphrase, got really annoying real fast. The best part of the story was the space battles. I sided with the Fixers, obviously, because they had the coolest tech and the motives made the most sense to me. Honestly, if I had to choose between some hoity-toity flowers and guns, space hippies, or a badass bunch of warriors who go around devouring planets like cheap sushi on a Sunday, I know who I'm picking. That scene where they invade City Planet and convert the entire population using those brain worms, and that space dog fight between those two ace pilots, sign me up. Do you think it's like a thing in Finland where they ask more questions? Because this game is a lot, like in the writing, there's way more question marks than most like natural dialogue or writing in North America anyway. What kind of ruined the whole thing for me is when my favorite character got killed not even halfway through the story by getting a battery cylinder launched into his face by a gravitational anomaly. His death didn't feel necessary at all. Not at all. Emergency supplies. Could be a European thing, yeah. Europeans. I write my sentences with a lot of question marks. It's a European thing? You were here and you made a mess. Okay, let's get back up to the second floor. Find that key. Yeah. Yeah, it's like a kind of in the wintertime is when you want to curl up with something really intense and dark and strange. Yeah. I think we're going the right way. Whoa. Let's run and gun. Oh man, that's so powerful. So much power. Look at that paper just flying everywhere. Would you call those particle effects? The shield god. I had a dream and built the thing I saw in my dream. A machine that will contain God, but not the God you know or the ones anyone knows. A new God. This machine will be his body, his heart, and his mind, and his butt. I made it just like the dream showed me. I used the motor from the refrigerator and the coils from my toaster and the fans plus the timing belt for my car's engine and the wheels for my son's skateboard. God can't move yet, but the dream said he would learn how on his own. This is just a beginner's body, like a baby, but a machine instead. God only needs a place to start. If you want to interview me, please contact me at the address on the envelope. My phone doesn't work anymore. I had to use the dialing plate. On God. You don't have to look at the item to telekinesis. Thank you. You see a lot of people saying character over story, or the opposite. Much rather have the story be the focus as opposed to what people are feeling or how they're interacting. Fill in the gaps in your mind. You can't fill in story gaps. Yeah, I like character. I think it's something like Star Wars. It's a very simple story, but it's how the characters react and deal throughout. I like seeing interactions. I can relate to that the most. Story to me seems like when I think of just lore and story, it seems like there's no consequence to it. It's just, and then this happened, and then this happened, and 500 years ago this happened, and this and this and this. What's really interesting is like when characters are interacting, there's a delicate balance where the spell can be broken, but when it works, it's magical, and it's like real life. It's like making a real moment happen. So I think the characters and their interactions are the most important because it's so much more challenging, but so much more satisfying when it's pulled off. So, okay, so just grab it even when I'm aiming at them, and it'll come to me from whatever direction, even from behind. The multimedia things. I think I did.
Objects of power can cause or be results of AWE's altered world events, intrusions upon the perceived reality. A side note, remember to cover their connection to the astral plane as well. Now, the service weapon is, of course, a prime example of an OOP, a very powerful one.
I'm glad he did all that.
Just look at it.
Alright, I need to find this key. Where could it key? Proceed to the communications department. Proceed. There, that's where I need the key. That door is closed. Alright, there's a guy in here. That's where I went in and got my powers. Mail room, sure. The key was on a dead body on the second floor. Running around while facing on a single side of the map. I see how you're writing that. I'm aware. Kind of sounds like prayers, you know? Hey, a new guy to shoot. So close. One of the things you found interesting was that the parakinesiology department looks down on the parapsychology because they get less findings and are trying to use that in order to lessen their funding and add it to their department. Oh yeah. I think this game is like, you know what? I don't think I'd come here before, Lena, because there wouldn't have been an enemy for me to fight. What do you think of that? Clearance level 1.
You're listening to America Overnight, mystifying the airwaves for more than 29 years. Thank you for staying up with us. Ghosts. We've had many callers over the years tell us of hauntings, voices, and other phantasmagorical phenomena. Today, friend of the show, Dr. Quincy Reagan, tells his story. Quincy,
Thanks. This is something I experienced recently while staying at the Chili Pines Motel in Macon for last year's SuspiciaCon. I was in room 47. The night manager, an avid listener of the program, insisted I take this particular room. Now, the manager explained that years back, the body of a man was discovered under the bed, inside that wooden border that motel beds tend to have. And the body had been there a week, he said. Guests had stayed there, sleeping with the corpse a foot below. They only found the body when housekeepers complained about the smell.
Bye, Felix. See ya.
Hauntings have been reported in room 47 ever since. I happily took the room. I fell asleep pretty quick, checking under the bed first, of course. No ghosts visited me, no chilly spots or flickering lights. But
when I woke up, I found myself under the bed. It was dark and stiflingly hot. Luckily, I was able to push the mattress off and crawl out before I suffocated. The night manager was kind enough to find me another room. What we call ghosts take many forms. Quincy was brave enough to tell his story, and I encourage you to keep calling and writing whenever you encounter something strange, something you can't explain. Maybe you're seeing colors that we have no name for. Maybe your toaster is possessed. Remember, dear listeners, when no one else believes you, we do. America Overnight, we'll be right back.
Good night, Felix. Thanks for hanging. Proceed through the communications department.
They can fly.
Yeah. What console do you play this on? Xbox, Matty boy? Close one. Yeah, PS4 Pro baby cakes. Runs good. Ah, he dodged me. I like those ladders that have the barrier around them. I feel safe climbing them. Like, he gives you a big cue before he shoots. And he does the same attack every time. So, it's totally fair. You can just dodge every once in a while. And it's third person, so you can still stay in cover and, like, get a pretty good angle of what he's doing. Yep, there you go. Ah, he went faster that time. I like how it looks like he's just kind of got a suit jacket flying around him, or like a sweater. The show Fringe, eh? I've never seen it. Get him! Get him, Pa! Get him, Ma! Oh, he is just wearing like a dress shirt. The writers feel like they've spent a lot of time working in office environments.
I have a feeling he'll be back.
I did it.
Let's stay focused. The hotline should be past the mailroom.
All right, take this down. The situation in Cuba has been evaluated by the relevant authorities. The mysterious illness affecting the staff at the U.S. Embassy in Havana was caused by sonic weaponry in the hands of a foreign power. Numerous personnel have damage to the inner ear, but most are expected to make a full recovery. Of course, the event also damaged their cellular walls, but we can't blame that on some stupid noise gun. Thank God no local doctors examined them first. Honestly, what are the odds an altered item would show up inside a U.S. embassy? Talk about good luck, huh? So much easier to... Hey, are you still recording this?
Okay.
Alberto Tomasi had
Alberto Tomasi. Well done, everyone. It was a strong campaign and perfectly executed.
of comms. The hiss got him.
Hotline.
The hotline can't be far now.
Hotline, Wisconsin. Hello. Will someone answer the telephone? Trench custodian. Trench custodian. Bishop. Why a different custodian? You see the final boss? The janitor?
The Ocean View Motel and Casino. Dream logic.
No! You know, this game feels like a PC game in the way that you're just kind of expected to figure it out and you die. I like that. You know, I can get so used to the modern games of you just run blindly forward and they'll figure it out for you, you know? This one goes, pull the light, different color, now you're dead. And because you have to go all the way back to control point, bet you're gonna think about that a bit more next time, aren't ya? Oh no. What if we had to fight that fella again? That would be terrible. Yeah, I'm liking this quite a bit. Friggin' rockets, man! Uh-oh. Give me your health. Yes. There's two guys there throwing rockets. Well, one's throwing rockets, one's got that sniper. If I get hit by that rocket one more bloody time. Woo! Ocean View Motel and Casino. Okay, can't wait to check it out. I love the way that action music ramps up in tempo and then slows down. Pull the light switch. Yeah, I know, Lena. Don't ruin it for me. I gotta figure it out with my own slow brain.
The Ocean View Motel and Casino. Dream logic. The light switch cord.
The law of three applies, it says.
Have we been here before?
That's cool.
No. I've stayed at a lot of roadside motels across the country, on the road, on the run, under the radar. This feels like all of them, like something recognized from a dream.
That's not guiding, that's just telling me the answer. Which I had assumed. After I pulled it once and then died. Hello?
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 Anyone here?
Anyone here? Janitor! Janitor! Why don't we just stay here and run this motel, you know? Give up on this craziness. Start a new life. This can be our hotel. Man, it's so beautifully designed. Unmapped area, bitch. Oh, I love this fridge. It's like futuristic Art Deco. Very bold art design, heavy blinding lights, angular shapes, heavy use of color. Yeah. This part is such a... like, it's got this retro but modern feel, and like the drastic shifts from this one to that. Yeah, it's super interesting. There's so many things you see that you recognize, but then are off in some way. Same way that that Bloodborne does a lot of horror, where things will look human, but with vastly different proportions. What would I say looks off? Well, when you go from like this kind of color to this kind of color, this sort of like has a whole other world of it. These sort of lights look like they're something I've never seen before in a hotel. Whereas like a lot of this hotel looks like it's out of the 70s, 60s, 50s, right? Kind of classic leather chairs, and then these giant ashtrays. First off, ashtrays inside, so it's like a very old feel, retro feel. But then these hallways look like sort of the same on the walls and the doors, but the lights are way different and the lighting's way different. Sort of like dressed. It's like you're stepping through a portal in a way. That's what I would say looks off. In a good way. It's just more of like familiar but not. Or seeing these symbols but not a number there, like something happened, like something tore them off. Then you go to this one and it looks much different. Or like different symbols like that. So now it feels sort of like a cult. Like a dark fantasy in a way. In like a... oh, I thought that was sort of a red light underneath the door.
Key has a black pyramid on it.
I saw a door with a black pyramid on it. Huh. And just kind of like the overall style of storytelling, where it's like they're all sort of playing by these rules, but you are not. Or like different rules. It's like they all kind of have their own rules in their head that sort of overlap and sort of don't. But when they're talking and having this conversation, you're like, do these characters understand what I'm saying? They seem to. They're like, yeah, you're the director. You found a gun where he was shot? Couldn't have been you. It's pretty neat. Seems like I changed the lighting Could be an interesting call. I wasn't doing it like a puzzle where I thought, oh, this is how the pieces fit together. I was just sort of progressing through it as I figured a game would want you to do, you know? Go here, grab this thing. That wasn't having a result. I think this game sounds really good with headphones. There's a lot more sort of like 3D audio going on. With each bell ring, we opened a different door in the motel. Oh. That's cool. I did not know. I just randomly stumbled through that. I was just hitting the bell and trying different things. Hitting a bell, trying different things. That's cool. Astro spikes cannot be killed. They can be lured. Hey. And like being in a sort of a dream world or walking across a walkway where it's like the room looks normal, but it's like it shouldn't exist there. Hearing a phone in this place. They're all sort of ways of combining different realities.
It's an object of power. It doesn't connect to any typical network. A direct line to the astral plane and the board. And my hypothesis is, under the right conditions, to other planes of existence as well.
Even now, sometimes
needs a team.
She's an FMV character.
Team.
Sometimes
these people
Polygon.
know the secrets of the Bureau as well as I do. Some even better. Darling, Tomasi, Salvador, Marshall. Marshall especially, my head of operations. She sees right through me. She knows I don't like relying on people. The only person you should fail is yourself. But things change when you become director.
Oh. I was wondering where I'd heard that from.
I can reach Trench. Well, listen to him. He feels more like an echo. An echo with important info.
This is pretty good so far.
I need to get back to Emily.